Hey, welcome in my math party people. Coach Anderson here. So we have a word problem, and as always, no matter how hard a word problem seems or how challenging it might be, we always want to stick to the plan. What do we want? What do we have? What's the connection? So here we go. First things first, we're going to start off with what do we want? Read that question first. It's a challenge question here, so let's get ready to see what's going on. I see here the challenge is what? Right here. What is the larger number? Okay, sounds good. So before we kind of torture ourselves mentally and say, I don't know what to do, or I'm stuck, or I'm frozen, go ahead, just read the question. Not anything else, just the question statement. What is the larger number? So anything starting with who, what, when, where, how many, which of the following. The whole if, don't worry about that. That's extra information. We'll talk about that in a second. The question reads, what is the larger number? So what we want is, again, the larger or bigger number. Okay, and sounds good. So here's the thing. If we're being asked to find out what the bigger number is, doesn't that mean that there has to be a smaller number? Right? So I'm going to go ahead and say here that I'm going to say that the bigger number here that I'm looking for is B, and the smaller number equals A. So far, is that fair to you? Again, all I'm doing so far is just understanding what the question's asking me to find. Do I know how to get there yet? Absolutely not. But do I know what I'm looking for? Yeah, the bigger number. Okay, so let's read through the information now, and this is step 2. What information do we have? So if you were trying to do this problem and you got stuck, essentially what could be the main issue is your ability to translate English into math. Allow me to go ahead and show you why this question confuses a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be that way. Let's first start off with the first sentence here. A 10% increase from one number results in the same as a 25% decrease from another number. Okay, so let's go ahead and translate that statement from English to math, because there was a lot of math stated there in English that we can absolutely translate to math. My ASVAB party people, hope you're enjoying the math party so far. Just wanted to remind you before we continue that we do have a way for you to practice everything you need to get the ASVAB score that you want. Because in our math boot camp, we have everything you need in terms of recorded lessons to go through the entire concept. On top of that, we have guided practice, printable worksheets, and speed drills for each and every single mini concept. From adding and subtracting decimals to fractions, distance, rate, time, word problems, proportions, everything you need. It's all lined up for you, and it makes learning as easy as possible, and we make updates to this course on a weekly basis at no extra cost to you. So I really urge you and implore you, go ahead, check out the link in the description for the Math Bootcamp, which is also included in our full program, and we make it as affordable as possible. So go ahead, click the link in the description to learn about this more. That way you know exactly what's available to you to raise your score. I don't want you to feel test anxiety. I don't want you to feel like you're lost and you're just hoping for the best. I want you to take control of your studying, and the ASVAB All-Access Program and the Math Bootcamp are the exact ways to do it. So if you have any questions, my contact info is also in the description. But before we continue, please check it out so you know exactly what's available to you. That way you can feel confident that there is a solution for you. Let's get back to the video though. Let's ace the ASVAB. Here we go, watch. Right here. A 10% increase from one number. Then it says results in the same value as a 25% decrease from another number. So here's the thing. If you know how to work percents, you are fine here. I'm going to show you how to set this up. Here's what I mean. In purple, what do we see again? 10% increase from one number, and then decrease from the other one. So I can assume that the smaller number, we're going increasing. The bigger number, we're decreasing. How do I know that? Watch this. 10% increase from one number. Let's write that down. So we can say the 10% increase from the smaller number. And how do we show a 10% increase, everybody? The way that we show a 10% increase is, remember, percent increases or decreases, taxes or discounts, markups or cuts. We always start from 100%. So what that means is, hey, we're starting from 100%, and a 10% increase means 110% of the smaller number. That's what that means. Again, a 10% increase, it's 10% from 100. We have to remember that. It's a 10% increase from 100, the original percent. And then it says over here, results in the same value. So results in the same value, that means equals. That means equals. It results in the same value. 1 plus 1 results in the same value as 2. That means 1 plus 1 equals 2. Look what we're doing now. We're creating an equation. All right, so what's next? We have ourselves over here. We have 25% decrease from the other number. Okay, so remember, we start off from 100%. So if we go down 25%, that means that we're doing, again, 25% decrease from the larger number. That means it's going down from 100. So 100 minus 25, right here, that's 75%. So it results in 75% of the larger number. So what does that mean, my math party people? Let me just go ahead and write it out for you nice and easy now. 110% of the smaller number, we said the smaller number is A, right? We said it was A. So this is going to be, if I translate this to math, if I translate this entire thing to math, this will end up becoming 1.10, or just 1.1, times A, because again, A is the smaller number. 100% of the smaller number is 1.1 times the smaller number, equals 75% of the larger one. So 0.75 B. Remember, you have to know how to convert percents to decimals. You move that decimal place to the left 2 times. Okay, we have this going on. Take note of that. Keep that right there where it is, because it's going to come back into play in a brief moment. Notice how we have an equation that has 2 variables. We can't solve this. We need another equation to be able to solve this, and that's why this problem is a mixture between percents, equations, and system of equations. Here we go. The second sentence here. The difference between the 2 numbers is 28. What does that mean? That means that here, the bigger number minus the smaller number equals 28. Is that fair to say, my math party people? The difference between the 2 numbers is 28. B minus A, the bigger minus the smaller, 28. Right? Right. So what can we do now? Remember the goal of the question. We are looking for the bigger number. We want the larger number. So this is where we get into solving a system of equations. If you're not used to solving a system of equations, that's why this is also difficult. If you got the setup right, then you're still needing to solve a system. So I implore you, again, I said it, system of equations, get in there and practice that, because we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Here's what you do. We're going to go ahead and try to get this in terms of the bigger number, because if I replace it into the equation, then the great thing is I'll be able to solve immediately for the bigger number and be done. If I solve for the smaller number, I then have to plug back in to get the bigger number. So let me be smart about it and set myself up to solve for the bigger number immediately. And what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead here and get A by itself so I can get everything in terms of B, because that's what I want. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and move the A over to the right side. So right over here, move that over, cancels out. We have B equals A plus 28. But I don't want this. I do not want this. Because again, if I substitute, I'm going to be replacing all of the B's with A plus 28. I don't want that, because I'm going to solve for A in that case. Let me do the other way around. Let me subtract the 28 from both sides now. And now I have over here B minus 28 equals A. This is what I want, because what I'll be able to do is replace all the A's that I see with B minus 28. And where am I doing that at? Right up there. So let me show you what that's going to look like. I'm doing a system of equations. Again, this is a system of equations with percents involved, but this is a system of equations, and we're using the strategy called substitution. We're using substitution, to get this one done. Before we continue, just want to take a quick moment to thank you for watching this video. And all I ask is that you please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That way more people just like you can see these videos. But on top of that, if you're looking for more ways to practice the right way and raise your score with guidance without stressing, then I really wholly 100% recommend my ASVAB All-Access Program. The program, long story short, helps you watch, practice, and master every topic, from the word knowledge to paragraph comprehension, arithmetic reasoning, math knowledge, general science. It's there and it's designed to help you succeed with practicing the right way. So, with that said, check out the link in the description to see how it all works, because you're going to have ways to learn in every way that you prefer. And you get my guidance and my support all the way until you pass. So don't hesitate. Stop feeling nervous and being anxious and letting yourself feel that way when there's a solution waiting right here for you. Check out the link in the description. That way you see how it works. And then reach out to me if you have any questions about it. Let's get back to raising our scores. So what we have here is I'm going to rewrite my equation by 1.1a. So this right over here, 1.1a equals 0.75b. And I'm going to replace the a with what I have right here, b minus 28. So I have 1.1 times b minus 28 equals 0.75b. If I solve this equation right here, I'm done. Because if I solve it for b, that's the bigger number. No work needed to be done. Here we go. Here we go. So we can go ahead and distribute this 1.1 to both of these terms here. Again, I'm solving an equation. Go back to those videos if you haven't seen them already on solving equations here. That's going to distribute to get 1.1 times b minus 28 times 1.1. What's 28 times 1.1? Let's find out. So here we're going to have 28 times 1, so that'll be 28. Put a 0 here for the next round. 8 times 1, 2 times 1, still going to be 28. Add these together and we'll have 8, 10, and 3. 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place. So we have 30.8 equals, again, 0.75b. So what do we do next? What we're going to do next, my party people, is we're going to isolate the b. We're going to get b by itself. The way that we can do that is by first moving this 30.8 over to the right side. Just like that. Cancels out on the right, on the left side, giving me 1.1b equals 0.75b plus 30.8. And then lastly, what I'll do, or not lastly, but second to last, I'll subtract 0.75b to get it on the left side. So notice we have a lot of work going on here, right? We got decimals, we got systems, we got percents. It seems crazy. It seems crazy, but this is still doable. It's a challenge question for a reason. And so here, 1.1b minus 0.75. Well, 75 to 100 is 25. Then to that next 0.1 is another 10. So it's 0.35. Use some mental math where you can. All right. And then lastly, what we'll do now, my math party people, is we're going to divide both sides by 0.35 right here. Divide both sides by 0.35, and that's going to allow us to understand what b is. So now we have to deal with dividing by decimals now too, right? This is a crazy challenge question. I made it a challenge question for a reason. And so here we go, my math party people. What we have now is I'm going to use my decimal trick. I'm going to move this decimal place to the left, or excuse me, to the right 2 times. And I'll move it to the right 2 times over here. So what this ends up becoming is not 30.8 divided by 0.35, but it becomes 3,080. So it becomes 3,080. Come on, there we go. 3,080 divided by 35. That's what this becomes. So there are 2 ways that we can handle this. One is you can try to do long division straight up, or you can remember that 35 is the same thing as 5 times 7, correct? So what you can do is you can divide the 3,080 by 5 first, and then divide it by 7. Or divide it by 7, then divide by 5. Either way is going to work. Either way. So let me first divide by 5 using my mental math tricks here. Divide by 5 first. All right, cool. 5 goes into 3, doesn't happen. 5 goes into 30, 6 times. That's a clean 30. Nice. Bring down that 8. 5 goes into 8 one time. Subtract the 5, you get 3. Bring down that 0. 5 goes into 30, 6 times. So we have 616. So this right over here can turn into 616 after you divide out the 5 from both the top and the bottom. And so what happens is you have 616 now divided by 7. So what's 616 divided by 7? Boom. Get that work in. You got this. 7 goes into 616. 7 goes into 61 8 times. And so from there, so 8 times 7 is 56. You have 5 left over. 6 right there. 7 goes into 56 8 times, and there you go. There is the value of B. We said it right there. B equals 88. And booyah, there it is. The answer is D. And we're done. And there we are, my math party people. There's a way to check our work here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you very briefly. But if you wanted to check your work, what you can do is you can go ahead and plug back in to find out what the smaller number was, and then perform the calculations to see what you get. So what we're going to get as the smaller number once we apply it is if you do 88 minus 28, because again, the difference was 28. So if you take away the 28, you'll get 60. So this is the smaller number. That's the smaller number, it's 60. So the larger number is 88, the smaller number is 60. Let's go ahead and see what we get here. We know that their difference is 28, and we said earlier, the 10% increase from the smaller number, well, 10% of 60 is 6. That is 10%. So if you add that up, that gets you 66. Okay, cool. Now what about if we do the 25% decrease from the other number, the 88? That's going to be 0.75, 75%. So 75% of 88, what is that? Well, right over here, that's going to be right there. Let's figure this out. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. Bring that right there, 44. Bring the 0 down. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 7 is 56, then 61. Add that together, and you get 0, 10, 6, and 6. 66 because of 2 decimal places. So yes, the 10% increase from the smaller number is a 75% or 25% decrease from the bigger number. And there we have it, my math party people. And so this is a crazy problem. It's a challenge question. It's a challenge question for a reason. I made this as hard as I could in terms of just being reasonable still, but I made it as hard as I possibly could in terms of mixing topics because this shows true mastery. If you're not quite there yet, don't worry. There are plenty of videos and topics that you should be going through first. But if you understood the majority of this or the entire thing and you can do something like this on your own, you're good. You're good. And then all you have to do is just work on your timing from there, and you'll get even better from there. So, I'm Coach Anderson. You know I appreciate you all day. Let's keep working hard and getting smarter, and I'll see you in the next video. My party people, as always, thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you can see all the updates that we come out with so you can keep improving. So don't wait, subscribe now, and then while you wait for the next video, look here or there to see a related video that's going to help you improve even more. Let's keep raising that score, and let's get the job we want. I'll see you soon.